since I watch every episode, the one thing that I notice is that it lacks a theme song. And so I decided that I would create one. And from the time that I parked the car downstairs to I got up here, I created a theme song for you guys. All right? So I'm going to play it, right? Mike, if I play this, and I'm not going to blow you. All right, ready? See if it works.
Let it rip. Union soccer talk, morning, noon, and night. Her sidekick, Mark, cuddly and sweet. Do podcast the spot where the fans all meet.
Just a couple more. Right? Boom, right there.
Welcome back to the DOOP presented by Subaru. I'm Sage Hurley. Over there we have Mark Evans, and I don't know about you guys, but I love game days, and this guy is a big reason about why home games at Subaru Park are so special. Kevin Casey, public address announcer since forever. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Finally, it's only season happened, right? But I'll take it. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We're happy to have you here because the fans in the stadium, they hear your voice every game. You get them excited. You let them know what's going on. But here you are, the man behind the voice coming from the skies.
I know, this is a little intimidating. When I'm in the booth, I have a script in front of me. I just have to Ron Burgundy and just read the lines, right? And now I've got to actually come up with stuff on my own. Speaking of which,
oh boy,
I want to start off with something a little different today.
I'm gonna read your minds. All right. So I want you to get
little
ready.
O's
right?
the mentalist here.
I'm gonna read your minds. And for those of you at home too, I'm gonna read all your minds. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of a number between 1 and 10. Okay.
Okay.
All this requires elementary math, so just do the best you can over there, all right, Mark? All right. I want you to.
Did you say close your eyes?
Oh, no, that was more for me, just so I can get in the flow in the zone. Okay, so you pick the number between 1 and 10. I want you to multiply that number by 2. Okay, ready? Okay. I want you now to multiply that number by 5.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
You ready? Okay.
No, I'm not.
Oh, dear Lord. What has Downingtown East done for you?
I was his fourth broadcasting journalism major, Kevin.
All right, are you ready?
For a reason.
Okay, now divide the number by the number you started with.
All right. It comes out to a decimal point. I'm not.
I mean, this is subtract that number by 7. What do you get? I'm going to tell you. If you did it correctly, I'm obviously not speaking to two of them because they obviously screwed this up. So the number at home you should have is 3.
Is that what you had, Tom?
Thank you, Tom.
We had to go to the audience for that one.
It took us 30 seconds to expose in here.
Huh.
Man.
I know our other producer, Mike, back there
Did
didn't
you
have
have
it
3?
either. There's no way.
I mean, listen, that's not like Indiana Vasilev level of buttered toast. By the way, I kept having the image of Gary Busey. You know the meme with buttered sausage? You want to talk about buttered sausage?
Nope.
When Vasilev was talking about buttered toast, that's all I saw.
Now, hold on. I might blow your mind.
What?
Do you know that clip of Gary Busey is not actually Gary Busey and it's AI generated?
It is.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Because I want to take some honey and I want to kiss it on its lips. Can we put that in there? Can you put that in the cast? All right. Can we talk about this?
We could talk about it. I don't know if I could show it on the screen.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Anyway. This is a lot of pressure following up Vasilev. He's on a different level.
And so you thought the best thing to do would be to stump the two of us right off the bat?
Embarrass us
Yeah,
on the
embarrass
internet.
us.
Kevin.
On our own pod. Get out.
I'm going to ask you some hard-hitting questions now.
Really sort of elementary level math.
No more softballs.
All right. Sorry about that.
We're going hard-hitting now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Temple, and where'd you go to school?
Towson University.
Oh, Fight on
Baltimore's
Tigers.
finest.
Tigers?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Fight on Tigers.
That's right.
Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You went to Temple, too, so you can't say anything about
Right.
my house.
We could have went anywhere. We chose Temple. Smarter. That was their little advertising campaign when I was in school there.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us when that was, Kevin.
You could. I went to grad school at Temple, so now we're going to go to Make Me Feel Old. Is that we've already gone to that
Yeah,
stage?
yes.
All right. Let's see. It had to have been like 2000, probably. Somewhere around there, 2000, 2001. Was married in 99, maybe a little bit later, maybe 04, 05.
You got married before you went to college. I mean, before you
Grad
graduated
school.
college.
No, I graduated undergrad, was graduated May, married the following year.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Amy and I have been together since we were 15.
Wow.
Right? So the kids that I teach now are 15. And
Your
so
son is 15.
My son is 15. I don't actually know if my son knows that or not.
That right now he's at the age.
At the age that I was dating my wife. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And now, I don't want to age you, but I kind of do. Again, this is your last year in your 40s.
Last year in my 40s, just turned 49 yesterday. Yeah. Yep.
Birthday pod.
Wow. I feel like this has already turned into an Oprah episode right now. Like,
And how does that make you feel?
I know, right? Wow. I feel old.
All right, let's get back on the train track.
Please, let's do it.
When, in that whole journey that you just gave us,
Yes.
does becoming a PA announcer come into play?
Yeah. All right. So here's the story. So it's like 1995. I am a sophomore at Eastern University, right up in Radnor. And the way that I always have to identify Eastern is by telling everybody it's down the street from Villanova. And like, oh yeah, now I know where it is, because Eastern's like, I mean, with the 5 of us in here, it's almost half of the student population. So super small. So I'm sitting in the bleachers at a men's basketball game. The athletic director at that time was a guy by the name of Wayne Rasmussen, who was my soccer coach, and he was doing the PA. He was doing the PA. And I turned to my girlfriend, my wife now, and I said, I think I want to try it. I think I can do that. I'd like to give it a shot. And so what I tell the kids that I teach now is how many people just say that and then just stay there and don't do anything about it. So I went up and I told the athletic director I'd like to give it a shot. And this was at the heyday of ESPN Jock Jam CDs. Remember the Jock Jam CDs?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Had a buddy who was a DJ, brought him down, played some music, did the whole intro thing when it was just becoming the thing to do. And it was well received. And I started doing all of the sports at Eastern. And then one door opens in another. So I have done just about every minor league team in the Philadelphia market. And I have also probably killed just about every team that is no longer around that I've worked for. So
Not a good sign for us, but
but I'm sure I'm on a different path. Philadelphia Kicks, Philadelphia Wings, Philadelphia Phantoms, Allentown Ambassadors, Atlantic City Surf, Camden River Sharks are all teams that I've worked with in the past. Philadelphia Freedom, which was like they played at Springfield High School. They were like
is that tennis?
it was a soccer team.
Oh.
But they were like, it was a D3 league, which is now like the USL League 2, the college kids league.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I started there doing it, and like anything else, one door opens another, and you just start having a great time doing it. And by doing some of those other sports, especially minor league baseball, everybody who wants to work in sports should work in minor league baseball, because it prepares you for everything else, because nothing is scripted. Like nothing is tightly wound. Everybody's doing different things. Everybody's pulling tarp. And so I've learned to really ad lib, and just by doing minor league baseball games. And we were talking about it in Camden with the River Sharks. I had a wireless mic that I would walk around the stadium with, and I would be sitting next to Savannah and Charlotte, at their first River Sharks game, and they would hear me announce a batter, and they'd be like, "This guy's on the mic," and then I would let them do the next batter. And it was just a cool experience to be able to do for the kids. And then I would jump on the field for the sumo wrestling dizzy bat race.
You ever get in a sumo wrestler costume?
I have never been in the sumo wrestling, and I took a really perverse pleasure in the dizzy bat race. Like, I just obliterated you. I would count to 7, go back to 3. I wanted to try to and have you end up in the dugout, and vomiting would be great too. But
We got to get Mark on one of those.
I'm not doing a dizzy bat.
we should do a dizzy bat race.
Yeah, no. If you remember, Sage, I did that at DOOP Cup.
Oh,
I remember that. Peer
Yes.
pressure. Yeah,
Yes,
you gave
I
him
got
that
peer
peer
pressured
pressure.
into
2
it.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
No, this past year.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
No, you're a good sport.
in the
about
snake
that.
pit.
Yeah, we had you dizzy bat and then try and hit the golf ball, right?
Oh, now I'm remembering.
No, I had to consume some alcohol first.
Yeah.
And then did the dizzy bat.
Huh. They have alcohol at those events?
I believe.
Just a little
Minimal
bit.
amount.
Yeah. No, that was fantastic. Yeah, your athleticism was on full display.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So your last job before here then was, like, how did you end up at the Union? You stopped. You stopped with all of the death of the sports teams that you.
Yeah. So
But
let's
you were
see.
here for a birth. The
Yeah.
birth of the team.
Yeah. So 2010. So I was actually in the room the day that they announced the team downstairs. In what was that? I guess 2008, right? They made the announcement. So I
Correct.
was in the room that day, and was doing my other gigs with. I think at that point it's the Wings, it's the Kicks, it's the River Sharks, and Wayne Rasmussen was a consultant with the team with Nick Sakevich, and he's the guy who really got me in. And so there wasn't really any type of an audition process. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get the gig, and it's really the gig or the team that I would want to work with at this point. You know, there was a while there where it's like if I could work for the Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, and I've had auditions, right, but where I've come close. But at this point, I don't think you couldn't have me do another team other than the Union. I just love soccer. My son loves soccer. My son would disown me, I think, if I tried to leave.
I think you would, rightfully so.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's just it is the team that I want to work for this point forward. Yep.
And you've been here since the start.
Been here since the start.
Is it crazy to kind of look around on a game day and see how far this club has come?
Yeah, it really is. You look at some of those early games that we played, and you look at, you see that one picture where you see the starting 11 from the first game in Seattle, and there are guys on there where I'm like, I have no idea who you are. Right?
Get out. You couldn't name the starting 11?
I could probably name. There's one or two that I just saw it recently. There's
That's-
one or two where I'm like, I don't even remember that guy ever playing.
That's disappointing. Well,
We should pull it up.
we
Yeah.
could pull it up, but that's disappointing to hear that.
I know. You know what I'm not very good at is I wish I was better at like extreme recall of past games. Like I'm terrible at saying, oh my gosh, in 2013, we did this and this game in a particular day in June. They all sort of run together a little bit.
Which I agree with you. I'm very similar, but
Yeah.
we have a guy on our staff, Greg Imming, who's been here from the start with
Yeah.
me, that literally could tell you every game, every score, who scored, and
Yeah.
we do it. We do like a on this day in Union history whenever we have kind of weekly staff meetings, and he knocks it out of the park every time.
So
Really?
He's like Rain Man.
Photographic memory.
He's Rain Man.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think I smell a content piece coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We could do something with that. It's pretty impressive.
Yep.
Maybe he Googles it now. I don't know.
You've been
He
here
might
since
be
the
cheating.
first. You're an OG
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah. 2009. Yeah.
What do you remember about the first game at the Link? What were you were in tickets then, right? Obviously.
Yeah, still on tickets. The thing that stands out to me was that Joe Biden was in attendance.
Yes. Yeah.
And so security was extra high, and a good portion of our fans missed our very first goal,
Yes.
scored by Sebastian Latou, because
Yes.
security was super backed up.
Yep.
They were having a hard time getting into the stadium.
Correct,
Yeah.
because security was double, tripled up because of, he was the vice president at the time.
I still have the jacket that first year warm up jacket that he wore, that style.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice.
And
Yeah, I still have it.
guess who was only 10 years old? We found out before we started the podcast. This young lady to my left was 10 years old.
So
It might even have been 9.
Might even been 9. Holy
well,
cow.
we're talking April 26th. No.
I have a November birthday. I'm currently 25.
Well,
1999.
we've already proven that math isn't your strong
not-
points
it's
yet,
not
so
hard.
let's try and not go there again.
Well,
You know what?
and also, yes, Sage was 9 or 10, and we talked about this with Kevin when he was here, that he wasn't even born.
Oh, yeah.
Which
yeah.
is
That's
crazy,
just-
right?
Right. That is so insane. Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was a Sebastian Latou show.
Yeah, sure was.
And then there was the one goal. The goal that we conceded.
It was 3-2.
Okay, so it was the one really bad goal. Who was our goalie that game? Chris
I don't want to put the guy on blast. It was Chris Seitz.
Seitz. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seitz put the ball on the ground
Yeah.
when he shouldn't have put the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
And the wily forward for DC United, whose name I can't remember.
It was an awesome
well-
experience, so to be a part of it. The
Yeah.
link.
Yeah, no,
So-
100%.
What do you remember from that day? Not so much on the field, but like
There-
environment wise,
Yeah.
you leading up to it. Like that's a pretty big venue to be working in.
It's one of, it might have been one of the first times that I've worked in the link. So I've done a bunch of different matches since then, like the international clubs and the national team games and things like that. The one thing you notice about the link from a PA announcing standpoint that's a little bit difficult is that the room that I announce from is enclosed. So you're in like this glass. You almost feel like you have a fishbowl atmosphere. So you can't really feel like I love at the Sub. You know, you can hear the crowd. You can hear the energy. You can
Now,
feel
I
it.
even feel like that in my job. I'm in the press box
Yeah.
during games, and when I travel on the road with the team, I know it's standard for a press box to be
Yeah.
enclosed,
Yeah.
but it's so different.
Yes.
Being in Subaru Park and in that press box where you can feel the fan energy, you can hear things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like sometimes we're like looking at who said that.
Yeah.
But it's just such a different experience.
And you get to, like, with that being the case, like Union 2 games.
We love Union 2 games.
The Bridge Brigade. It's a small enough environment where we can communicate with each other. I'll make an announcement, and then they will thank me. They'll say, "Thank you, Kevin," and I wave. Although I haven't been, it's been really cold, so I've kind of just kept the window closed. 'Cause
You've enclosed yourself.
I've enclosed myself voluntarily, yeah. But no, so I remember that first game. It's surreal, right? It's like you've waited for it for so long, and it's finally here. And then we have such a successful first debut, and it's like, wow, this is amazing, you know. And I don't even know what did we play. What did we play for a song when
I
we
think
scored
played
those
the
first
Duke
goals?
song.
I don't think Novak brought that in until
I
like
think he did right from the start.
right from the start.
I'd have to go ask Greg. But
Greg,
I do.
Phone a friend.
I do believe that we
Okay,
had that from
yeah.
the very start.
yeah.
But again,
So-
it all blends together.
Yeah, so it's just a surreal experience, and then you get to our first game at I guess it was Talent Energy, or it's
was
PPL.
PPL
Park was first. There again goes my lack of clarity with being able
Yes.
to recall things. And you're like, this is the coolest environment, you know, and I get to be a part of it, and it's just awesome. Yeah.
Wow. And you're still a part of it
Still
to
a
this
part of
day.
it,
So there must have been
yes.
something keeping you around.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So, soccer is been my my niche, right? Like, if you look at PA announcers in the Philadelphia area, just between the Flyers and the Phillies, right? So you've got Dan Baker, 50 plus years, Lou Nolan, 50 plus years, right? So if you're looking to find a spot in one of the teams, that's not where you're going.
Hard to come by.
Matt Cord he's got to be getting like 40 plus years himself.
With the Sixers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Right? Probably. And all three of them are fantastic at what they do, and they're the nicest guys in the world, and we sort of have this little fraternity. So to be able to find my niche in the soccer area because I love soccer has been such a blessing, you know, and getting to now branch out from just Union and doing U.S. national team games and doing the club matches has just been awesome.
Do you have a non-union soccer game that's been the most memorable to work?
So I had a chance to work Neymar's first cap for Brazil up at MetLife Stadium. That was one. That was cool because Pele was supposed to be there, and I was going to introduce him at halftime. And it turns out it like got cut out of the script, and so that was a little bit of a letdown. But like that was a good one. Doing a Barca match up at MetLife. Where it was Neymar, Messi, Iniesta are the three names you're announcing in a row, and Ronaldo at the link a couple times. So those were all the big matches that you remember that are non-union matches.
And I assume you remember Liverpool Arsenal last summer. That was a
summer.
big one. That was a big one.
Yeah. So we went to both. You can tell the difference between the two clubs, why one club is so much more likable than the other club. And I'm just going to qualify this by saying I'm an Everton supporter. We went to, by your gracious invitation, to watch the practice of Liverpool at the Link.
Yeah, correct.
The players didn't come within a country mile of these diehard Liverpool fans that were there. we had the Arsenal training here. The Arsenal players were coming over. They were up. Micah got his picture with everybody. You know, they were just so much more approachable. And therein lies the difference, really, between why Liverpool is such an unlikable group.
And again, we don't need to go down this rabbit hole, but I'd argue it's worked out just fine. Maybe the all-business approach has worked for Liverpool this season, right?
That's really what you're after. I mean, don't you want to be
I'll
liked?
tell him.
No, I want to win.
Tell him.
Don't you want to be liked?
Sage and I want to win.
They're very well liked in this room.
Oh, that's right. You're a Liverpool fan too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2010 World Cup ends. I read a book called Bloody Confused. It's a book about an American journalist, sports writer, who follows a girl to England, and he decides he's going to follow a team for a season. He picks Portsmouth, and he writes about it. And so this book is just like, it sucked me in. I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick a team, right? So it's 2010. So you immediately can't pick the top four because it's too easy. It's like you know, immediately going to New York Yankees. Now, at that point in 2010, the top of the second tier was really Liverpool and Everton, right? And so it came down to Goodison Park. I'm a history teacher, and Goodison has a ton of history, right? It came down to Timmy Howard and Landon Donovan, the Americans playing. And so I went Everton. And I picked the most Philadelphia of English Premier League teams that I could possibly have picked, where it's like, you're going to suffer a lot.
A lot of suffering.
But within that suffering, there's like, it's my suffering.
It's a brotherhood.
Right. It really is. And then they come to play at I don't know if it was Talent or PPL at that stage.
I think still PPL.
It was early, right?
That was 2010. That was the first season.
And I'm in Myrtle Beach on vacation. I fly up for the game, and do the game. Met Phil Neville, met Seamus Coleman, who had to have been a rookie at that point. You know, or,
they don't call them rookies, but fair.
What do they call them in England there?
Young. He was a young lad.
A young lad. A young lad. Yeah, and so that began the journey. Yeah, and I see you checking your phone there. They're not going to win the league today.
We'll see.
Well, you talk about leaving your vacation
to
come work a game.
Yep.
You've missed very few games.
That is correct.
How many is it up to now that you've missed in this whole long span?
So we were trying to figure it out. I would say within the entirety of the team, it's a half a dozen or less. There's one notable one I missed in 2014. It was the birth of my youngest daughter.
Oh, God, what a lame excuse that is, Kevin.
And I remember watching the game on TV, Anna and I, and JP had this nice little it was Lou Nolan doing the game for me that day.
I was going to say, I thought he did at least a couple of the ones that you have.
Yes. Yeah. I think Gary St. Hours has done a game. Gary St. Hours is the Eagles PA announcer. He's done one. He might have done one last year when I missed because I was in Spain with Micah. But he made a nice little comment about, you know, if you're missing the voice, it's because his daughter was born, and he's such a class guy, JP. So, but that was a notable one. But I think really outside of that, I've flown back from vacation for matches. I don't like to miss a whole lot of matches. You know that scene in Anchorman with Ron Burgundy when they're like in the back alley and the different news stations are getting ready to have their brawl, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how you are about that's how PA announcers tend to be like, you know, like this is my territory, like that's my microphone, you know, that's my team, and so you don't want you don't necessarily want to share it out.
So Tom did the math on this.
Okay.
And I think it came out to like around 248.
That I've done?
270.
Yeah. 270?
I have 270 Major League Soccer games, and that's just MLS regular season. Oh. So including friendlies, tournaments, Union 2, you're definitely at 300.
Yeah.
Sure.
I never thought about that. And I kind of wish, because I'm a history guy, right? So I always wish that I would have done a better job of, like, collating things over the years, right? Like lineup cards, the lineup sheets from major games.
Should have done that.
I haven't.
Because when you're younger or early on in your career, you start collecting them. Then you're like, what's another piece of paper? Right. But I bet now you're probably like, man, it would have been pretty cool to just stack them all next to each other and see the progression there. Yeah,
I have like scripts and stuff from some of like other games that I've done and then you're right. You're like, what am I gonna do with these things? Yeah.
I have a pile, and I stopped collecting them.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I'll add another. I'm like, yeah, this was pretty cool. I'll add it to the pile.
It is cool to look at. Like, I just had to move my office, right? And, like, I had all this stuff from 2010, 2009 as well. And it's like, it's fun to look back at, like, God, that's what we had back then. It's like our promo, like, gear and stuff like that.
You look at
It's
names
crazy.
that you completely forgot about,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, that's the cool part about this room. If you look around, you can see like newspaper clippings from the announcement of the team,
Yeah.
old major moments,
The old
supporter
jerseys.
shield.
The other thing I wish I would have done is kept the jersey from every season, which I also never have done.
I'm probably pretty close.
Are you?
Yeah.
Which is your favorite?
The lightning bolt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is your favorite?
The light blue. It's during Latou's era. It might have been a third. It's light blue with the white stripe down the middle. Is
There
up
it is.
Yeah.
Right behind you.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's right
Yeah.
behind you too, Sage.
Oh.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one is up high on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the lightning bolt for me, mainly because we had our most success, right? We went to MLS Cup in that jersey.
Oh, in that jersey.
There was just something about it.
MLS Cup was
Obviously also a bad memory, but
the greatest sporting event I've ever been to until it was the worst sporting event that
Agreed.
I've ever been to. It was such a range of emotions that day. And I'm on FaceTime. I'm FaceTiming with my son who's watching the game, and I'm ahead of him. And Gareth Bale heads it in, and I'm like, Micah, leave the room. You got to walk out. Don't watch.
oh
Put your
god,
head
it's
down.
got goosebumps.
Right?
So devastating.
Oh man! And if you go back and watch
You
it,
FaceTimed him because you thought we were going to
we're
win.
gonna win. I mushed it right up.
And you
mushed it right up. I
You
know.
mushed it.
Throw him in the bathroom.
Everybody
mush.
loved Kevin Casey until about 3
I know.
seconds ago.
My bad.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then you watch that play, and it's like if Aaron, well, you don't want to lay blame, but
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
if certain things happen, yeah,
Tough.
yep. I still watch the highlights and wait for something different to happen.
Yeah.
There's no way we can lose this time.
Yep.
There's no way Elliott scores that late and we lose.
Right.
Can't happen.
It was a good trip, though.
It was a good trip, man. I'm telling you, that fan base was different, though. A lot of us walked out in a different shade of red.
Yeah, from those red beer drinks, whatever they were called.
Right.
I
yeah.
heard about that. I
Chiladas or-
started
yeah.
a couple months after that. And that was one of the first things I heard was all the drinks that were being dumped on
Yeah.
our fans from the
And I'm
LAFC
saying, like,
crew.
it's not cheap, right? A $30 drink, they just throw it in the air.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather consume it. But that's just me. So,
I think we're on the same page about that one
Yeah,
for
right.
sure.
yeah. At Sioka Subaru of Philadelphia, we have a lot in common with the roster of the Philadelphia Union. There's no I in team. There's no I in Subaru either. Leave it all on the pitch. Leave your keys with us and go enjoy our comfortable service waiting area. Subaru and local Subaru retailers like Sioka Subaru of Philadelphia are proud to support the Philadelphia Union. This means we're supporting Union players on the pitch and Union fans on the road with regular maintenance, test drives, and finding the perfect vehicle. Visit Sioka Subaru of Philadelphia today. Learn more at siokasubaruofphiladelphia.com.
Subaru has teamed up with the Philadelphia Union and Greater Philadelphia area Subaru retailers to make a difference in our community and at Subaru Park. Together, we've helped hundreds of pets get adopted at the stadium. At Subaru Park, we've grown and donated thousands of servings of fresh organic produce to area food banks and helped give kids in our community access to the game they love. Together, Subaru and the Philadelphia Union are making a difference. Subaru, more than a car company.
So that was a memorable day.
Yeah.
What is a positive, most memorable Union game that you've worked? Is there one?
Yeah, it's the playoff game against New York. It's late, and it looks like we're headed to PKs, and the ball pops out to Elliott at like the 25, 20 yards out.
Again, this is where your brain maybe comes to mush a little bit. It was not Jack Elliott.
No, Glessness.
Yeah, you said Elliott.
Oh, I meant Glessness. Yeah. Mike, just work on that editing. Let's start
I
over
got
on
you.
that. You ready? So it's the New York Red Bulls playoff game, and it comes out to Glessness. And so many of my memories are surrounded by my son, right? Because he's been in the booth with me for the games. and he's at this point he's like 12 or 13, so he's in like prime like voice changing. Right?
So he comes up in the booth with you and sits.
He sits in the booth. He's been sitting in the booth with me for games since he's been probably 9 years old. And so early on when he was 9, it was well known that he could go into the dining room and they used to have these brownies. And brownies, whatever he wanted, he could get. And I'd look and he wasn't there. I'd come back, he has a plate full of brownies. And so so he's on the phone videoing this event. And Glesnes scores, and his reaction is just priceless because it's his little face, and his voice is cracking, and he's duping, and his voice is cracking, and there's this great picture that somebody in the other room took of him and I with our arms around each other, watching this moment, and it was just like, it was chilling. Right, where were you for that?
Down right behind the goal. Yeah,
right where it scored.
Yeah, right in front of the river end.
Yeah,
it was awesome,
wasn't it?
Incredible.
Do you have a most memorable Union game you've worked?
That would probably be it. It would be hard not either that or our first playoff win, which was also against Red
Bulls in the rain.
The year before that, Marco Fabian. Year before that, maybe 2 years before that.
But we were down. Like we
were down,
we
and
kept
it didn't
coming
look
back.
good. But we had put a lot of effort in as a staff. We did the T-shirts in every seat, and it was going to rain, so we all had to come in the day before and put T-shirts in like little plastic bags for everybody. Yeah. And I think like the relief of like knowing that we had put all that work in and then we had won.
Yeah.
I think was probably it, and I think that was our first playoff win.
Yeah. The goal that was scored, we conceded at half. Felt like that was it.
Right before the half, yeah.
Yeah, like that. We just can't possibly come back from that again. Yeah. The bigger difference was I feel like it was the finish, right? Fabian's was almost like he didn't really
header back across the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he really trying to?
Right.
Yeah. And Glesnes's was just it's stuff of legend. So, and then the next one when we finally lift an MLS Cup here in Philly is going to be the next big one.
That'll be awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I don't care where it is. It would be cool if it was here, but
I know because
I'd almost like to go back to LA.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, here would be wild.
Yeah.
I like this energy. 2 podcasts in a row where the guest has brought up something along those lines as something.
Because you watched Indies, right? So you saw he also talked about that. You watched the pod?
Indy is on a different level, man. What I want what that guy's having.
Indy said that if we made it to playoffs and we were a top 4 seed,
that's what he said.
He would grow his mustache into mutton chops. And then he would not do anything with the mutton chops until we won the cup. And once he lifts the cup, he will take it all off and go shaved face.
But again, Kevin knew that because he watches the
pod.
I
knew that.
Kevin is a big fan of the podcast.
And I immediately, thought about the beard and thought wouldn't happen. First of all, it would be banned in my household for me to lose the beard. And a couple years ago, Halloween, we did Ted Lasso, and I shaved the beard, had the mustache, and we did a thing here at the stadium.
Yeah, you came down. We had an open practice that day.
Yes, we had an open practice. I had the Ted Lasso Richmond sweater and the visor and the Ray-Bans, and I interviewed Jim Curtin as Ted Lasso.
Did you put on the Ted Lasso personality?
Yes. Yeah, I did the whole.
Have to.
Yeah, I did the whole thing.
And people genuinely thought Ted Lasso was out of practice. I remember fans being like, "Wait, is that actually?"
Yeah. That'd be a good promo for season 2. They should bring him down here.
Yeah.
You can show him how
we
it's
did
done.
A whole photo shoot. We did the shoot with me sitting in the seats like he does in the intro. We did a locker room scene with the Believe sign.
Nice.
And so we did a whole bunch of things with it that I think have otherwise disappeared because of copyright issues. But they live in our minds.
You and copyright issues,
I know,
Kevin. Kevin
right?
is the copyright issue king of the Union.
Tom was informing me that the Christmas video we did, where we did like this spoof off of the Time Life Christmas albums, and I did all the Christmas carols.
I do remember that.
With like with the turtleneck sweater and the fire in the background, the pipe.
Of course, yes. I watch all your content. So definitely
I'm sure you do. Yeah, it's very nice of you. Yeah. As I do you.
Thank you.
Of course. And Tom informed me that also didn't last very long.
Didn't make
Tom
the
is
cut.
our director of digital, and we are no longer allowed to go anywhere close to copyrighted information, music, sounds, faces.
Nothing.
Not because of that, but because of that.
So we will not be playing the AI-generated Gary Busey buttered sausage.
But we
clip.
could play the AI generated theme song that you had created for us.
We
That is
walked in today.
fantastic. All right.
Kevin, show
Can I
the
play it?
people.
I'm gonna. All right. So.
I sat
No.
down in my chair. Kevin was walking in here, like saying hello, saying what's up to everyone who was getting ready for production, whatever.
Yeah.
And I hear this coming out of his pocket ever so slightly, and I'm like,
I know. I was trying.
I hear
I was
the
trying.
words podcast.
All right.
Sage.
So since I watch every episode, the one thing that I notice is that it lacks a theme song, and so I decided that I would create one. And from the time that I parked the car downstairs to I got up here, I created a theme song for you guys. All right. So I'm gonna play it. Right, Mike. If I play this, and I'm not gonna blow you. All right. Ready? See if it works.
Let it rip.
Union soccer talk morning, noon, and night. Her sidekick Mark cuddly and sweet. Do podcast the spot where the
Right?
fans all meet.
Just a couple more.
With laughs and cheer. Union fans, your voice is here. The Sage and Mark, fun won't stop. The podcast
Right?
is your one-stop shop.
Boom! Right there.
Discovering AI right here.
That's right.
I love it.
in
Two
Chester.
40-year-olds just establishing AI
It's incredible.
creds right now.
Yeah.
You know, cute.
Cuddly and sweet.
Yeah, cuddly and sweet. The
Cuddly and
sidekick Mark.
sweet.
It's all true. How did they know all of that about
It's
me?
amazing.
My sidekick.
It's unbelievable. It's
also. I
almost
like
as
that.
if I said that.
Right.
You know.
Thank you.
So there you go. So feel free to do with that as you wish.
Okay, so you made a song about me and Mark.
Yeah.
So now we need to come back to you.
Okay.
That was all AI.
That was all AI.
Can you announce Mark and I's name like we're in the starting 11? Like
Yeah.
what would be the inflection of
All right. So let's go through the names
good,
first,
too.
right? Because there's a couple of variables. Okay. First of all, I need syllables. Okay. And so I'm not.
I don't mean to jump in here, but Sage Hurley and Mark Evans are pretty
So
basic.
Mark. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So initially they're going to be more difficult names to say, right? Sage, Hurley.
the shorter, the more difficult?
Mark Evans. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, remember we had Fred. Fred Da Silva, right? Who's in the academy now,
Sure is.
but he's Brazilian and went by Fred. And I had to
Union
announce
too,
his name.
technically,
What am I
yeah.
supposed to do with Fred? It's like one syllable.
What did you do?
Fred. And to this day, when I see him, I'm like, Fred, your name is the worst name I've ever announced of all the names.
Fred's
right?
always walking around here. I'm going to see him and be like,
Yeah.
Fred!
Freddie, Fred. So the more syllables your name has, if your name can end in a vowel, better, right? So that's why Bedoya's will go down. Alejandro will go down as one of the all-time greats. And in the control room, we always have this, like when we're doing the starting 11, right, we're on a pretty tight time schedule. And so in the past, it would be Sumner, when he was with us, would say, hey, long Bedoya or short Bedoya, because we don't have time.
A peek
So-
behind the curtain.
So
Yeah,
when he
that's
would give
cool.
me, so when I'm announcing the starting 11, I've got a headphone in, and he's talking to me, which is a skill set in itself to be able to announce while there's chaos in your ear. Well, you know that, right? So, so there's that level of chaos in your ear and being able to talk through it. And so when he would give you the key to go long Bedoya, we would fly with it, and I would just try and see how long I could actually say Alejandro before I passed out. And I came close a couple times, but never did. So I will do this. I'm going to announce the two of you if, in exchange, the two of you can give me your longest drawn-out Alejandro. All right? No, we're going to do
What
this.
if I do pass out?
Well, then I'm sure we'll get a new sidekick, cuddly, adorable sidekick in the corner. All right. What number do you want to be?
11.
Okay. Ready? I'm going to pull this back a little, Mike, so I don't kill you there. All right.
I got you. I'm on the levels.
You got it.
Yeah.
You're on the 1-2s?
I'm on the 1, 2.
Is that what the cool kids say?
No.
No. All right, here we go. Union goals scored by number 11, Sage Hurley.
was good.
I love it.
That was good.
I love
All
it.
right, you ready, Mark Evans?
Yeah.
What number do you want to be? Oh, it's
What
gonna be
number do you
some
think I should be?
lyrical.
I'd like to be number 9.
I like to see you in a number 2 jersey because they're usually the smaller jerseys and just
I'm not a small guy.
Which one you
Let's
want?
go number 9.
number 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Union goal scored by number 9, Mark Evans.
That was good. You got low.
Yeah,
with
so you
the-
got to get a little.
You growled.
Yeah,
You got to
got
get
a lot of
growly when
gruff.
you got to get growly when the syllables don't naturally allow you to
He's
do it.
he's cuddly and sweet, but when he scores a goal, you got to
he's
growl.
mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go stopwatch here. Okay.
Oh, I'm so gonna beat you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to see.
I'm gassed already just thinking about it.
All right, so what you're going to say is like you're announcing the starting lineups. You're going to say your captain, number 11, and then Alejandro. And then as soon as you start Alejandro, that's when I'll start the timer.
Do I have to say Bedoya after and like stay alive for that or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you got to see it through. All right. Who wants to go first? Rock, paper, scissors, it up.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock,
Ooh.
paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, man. They stay committed to the scissors.
So does
Get
that mean I
wrecked.
go first, or
All right.
do you want to go first?
No,
get
you
to
got
pick.
it.
Okay.
Okay, and so what am I saying?
And your captain, number 11, and then go Alejandro Bedoya.
And your captain, number 11, Alejandro Bedoya.
I've never seen a human's face turn that shit red. That was impressive. I had you at like 11 seconds, though.
Is that good?
11 or 12. That's pretty good.
Oh man, I should have gone
Thanks.
first.
That's actually really good.
Thanks, I felt pretty good about that.
All right, you ready?
Almost. I think I was holding my breath while you did that, so I
That's-
need to recover a little bit.
I know. I've never learned to do the
Mike,
dive.
you're next. You got a mic. If you have a mic, you participate.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You can't pick and choose when you're involved.
This would work.
I got you.
Yeah. All right. I'll tell you next. All right. Are you
We
ready?
should do this around the front office.
It's a good
I
game.
should just. I'm telling you. I'm just gonna walk around the office and start.
You know?
I had to ring the doorbell to get in here today. Just put me at the front seat. I'll just introduce you guys as
That's
you're coming
perfect.
in and out.
Oh, that would be incredible.
We are just having content left and right. I love it. You got to come to brainstorm meetings.
Yeah. Let's do
And
it.
let people know when they're late. Arriving in the third hour of the day, Sage Hurley.
Ladies and gentlemen, a yellow card caution for lateness. Now leaving the restroom. Oh jeez. All right, Sage,
Love
let's
it.
go. All right,
Okay.
get focus. Deep breath.
Lock in.
Are you dive? Have you learned to do the diaphragm breathing?
No.
Like when you're. I don't know how to do it either. But like, there's a secret, so like you don't have breath when you're talking. You're supposed to breathe through your diaphragm. Singers do it. I'm distracting you. Go ahead.
Okay. And your captain, number 11,
Oh my God.
Bedoya.
Wow.
Sorry, I took a breath
Wow.
after
That's
Bedoya.
like Andres Cantor material.
Had to
right
beat
there.
him.
That was, you doubled me up.
No, that was impressive. Yeah.
Huh. I thought 11 seconds was good.
I thought it was too, Mark, actually. I was pretty safe. Sage, that's impressive.
Well, we're
Great
old.
job.
You got to keep that
Let
in
me get
mind.
on the
We're
mic
old.
sometime.
Sage is a lot younger.
So I'm working a game at the link, and I look over to my left, and it's Andres Cantor, right?
Yeah.
Who's the famous goal guy. And you're gonna love this because he's drinking mate.
Mate.
Yes, and he saw it was me and AP who's does when we do Spanish games, and he saw us looking at the mate, and next thing you know, he's in the booth with us, and he comes over and he's like telling us about mate, you know, and
Mate
it's
brings
like-
people together.
right. And here's this legend guy with the goal call, and so I channel my inner Andres Cantor when I do the Bedoya, Alejandro.
Is that your favorite name you've ever done?
Yeah, at this point it is, definitely, because of how we draw it out.
Right.
I would say a close second might go early on. Danny Mwanga
Yep.
was another favorite one. Another one was Aristagieta.
Oh, that was short-lived though.
Yeah, short-lived, but that was a fun one to say too. Of course, Latu, right? Was another good one. Yeah, so a bunch of those names stick out. And again, it's about syllables. It's about vowel placement.
Does it feel some kind of way to say a guy's name for the first time when they score their first goal for the Union?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing to be part of that. I guess most recently, not necessarily a goal, but Cavan's first appearance with all of the hype and fanfare behind that, and being on the mic to sort of welcome in that next step of his journey was kind of a cool thing.
You were telling me a funny story though the other day from our foundation event last year, was it? When you took the elevator down with Andre Blake.
Yeah. So
and like you're the voice. You're not necessarily the face.
That's 100% right. So in my world of announcing, I don't really interact with players at all. I mean, I come to games, I go upstairs, so I don't really see the players at all. So you like wonder, like, do they, how much do they really know who you are or what you're all about? And I was hosting the Union Foundation's gala. The event is over. We're in the elevator on the way out, and I hear I'm on the elevator with Blake, and I don't even think he knows who I am, so I'm not saying anything, and all of a sudden I hear in that great Jamaican voice, and your goalkeeper, number 18. And it was like, oh man, that's kind of cool, like Andre Blake. So it was him announcing himself as me, which was kind of like, that's kind of cool to sort of think that they actually
it's funny
hear you. Growing up for me, my Phillies experience is Dan Baker's voice. And so when you hear Dan Baker's voice, it takes you back to
like Mickey Morandini.
Yeah.
That was one that
just
always
like
stuck
that was
out
my
to me.
childhood. Going to the stadium was such an event when you're a kid, right? And then Dan Baker's voice was part of that. And so in some small way to think that, because I've been doing it, for the last 15 plus years, that, if you've been coming to games as a kid, maybe that's kind of a cool thing to think that you might have that sort of familiarity with it too.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool to be part of that. It's unique to be part of something from day one. How often do you get a chance to really do that?
Yep. Agreed. It's huge.
So it's a pretty unique experience.
And you have those names that you've been saying forever.
I know. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, right? In a few years, our Ring of Honor is going to get much more
hopefully
crowded. I just think with this generation of players that have come through here in the past few years, there's a few names that are going to join Sebastian's up there, and having that opportunity. It's always fun alumni night when the guys come back, calling. And I think, in fact, what I did last time, Fred was here for alumni, and I announced his entire name, right? There's like 4 or 5 names that are in there.
Sure.
And I announced every single one of them last time he was here. So I went completely opposite from Fred and did all 4 or 5 names.
And now we've had some like drum bangers that are interesting names that you've probably never got to say before, right? Like your Jason Kelsey's of this world,
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey.
Ryan Howard recently.
Ryan Howard this year.
Yeah. Yep. I had the chance to bang the drum last year.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure this is how it went, right? So we're playing Cruz Azul, Leagues Cup.
Yep.
That was a crazy game, too.
A large part of the stadium was Cruz Azul fans. So I can just picture, and they're like, hey, we need somebody to bang the drum. The stadium's going to be a lot of Cruz Azul fans. Who should we get? Let's get Casey to do it. He'll do
That's
it.
exactly how it went.
That's exactly how it went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the sucker who's going to bang the drum when there's not
This
a
guy
whole lot
never
of
misses a game. He'll be here, no questions asked.
The Union fans are not necessarily the majority. Let's let Casey bang the drum. Yeah. That was cool, though. It was fun. It's fun to see. I've often said that I would love to. I would love to. Like I said, I was on a wireless mic for the River Sharks. I would love to do a starting 11 wirelessly from the Sons of Ben section or remotely from outside the stadium. Right?
Sounds cool.
That would
like
be a cool experience to do it from there. But just getting to see the stadium from different vantage points. I had never sat in the seats as a fan until probably 3 years ago. We had a U.S. women's match here, and Marissa Pilla was doing PA duties, and I came with my family, and I sat in these seats, and I'm like, I get it. Like if I wasn't working, I would be a season ticket because this place is awesome. And we made sure we hit all of the different locations of where you could see the game from. So we were, in the seats on one side, and then we went to the Stadium Club, and it is a beautiful stadium. So there is part of me that would like to be able to experience a match or two. Like I want to tailgate, go to Union Yard.
We say that all the time. I just want to take it in as a fan.
Yeah. But then to realize that somebody else is going to be announcing the game, it
You'd
would
get
not
angry.
be I'd be like,
Yeah.
that's my
That's your
team.
spot.
That's my team, yeah. Yeah, out the Ron Burgundy, that right there.
Well, I mean, Sage or I could do it after you just saw we can knock it out of the park. So we could do it.
Yeah, Sage,
mean,
you're
I could-
hired. You are hired.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you went longer, but
I mean, it was
I had some of the.
I'm
I
still
had-
recovering. I'm not gonna lie.
I like
Yeah.
to think that I had some of that gruff.
You had a little more left in the tank on Bedoya. You were spent.
Yeah, I spent. I had to like breathe for Bedoya, but you gave a little. You rolled your R.
Yeah, exactly.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was great.
Yeah. My rolling of my
Thanks,
R
Sage.
works about
Anytime.
every 1 out of every 3 times.
Do you try to do it every time?
I sometimes, yeah. Like if it's a double R, right? Like an arroyo. But like it works at once every 3 times. One time I'm at Lincoln Financial Field and it's a Real Madrid's playing, I think Bayern Munich, and there was a Coors Light read in Spanish. And they're like, "We need you to read this in Spanish." And like the whole control room is just waiting for this read to happen. And I feel like Spanish language is a lot well, you know, right? It's pretty straightforward. I say that because she was
I
you
studied
majored.
Spanish also in college.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't speak it anymore. I would love to. That's one of my
Renaissance
life
moment.
goals.
It sounds like.
Yeah. But it's easy, like it's
Working
pretty
on it.
straightforward. It's easy to read. There's not a lot of tricks, right? I don't know what I'm saying, but I can feel like I can say it. So I went through this read, and like the control room, had a great response, and like I'm pretty sure that like I'm sure the Spanish speaking people in the crowd were like, "What did I just hear?
This is idiot.
What was that?" Yeah. So so that was my experience in announcing in Spanish. Thank God for AP. He's our Spanish guy.
It is 5:20, just an FYI.
I know. We can wrap this up. I do have a genuine question though. When the Philadelphia Union announces when we sign a player, is your immediate thought?
How do you say the name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Ua signs with us, right? And Erica had him in the stadium, and I was on the phone. He wasn't playing. He was just getting introduced. And she had passed the phone to him, and he's telling me how to say his name. So he's telling me to say Michael. Just say Michael. I'm like, I don't want to say Michael. Like, that's obviously a cop-out, right? It's not. Right? You see the clips on YouTube, like the little kid doing the Michael,
Yeah.
right? I want to say it like that. So I think I did Michael for a while, and then I switched to, and I totally channeled the Al Pacino, Scent of a Woman with the
Ooh-ah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's one of my favorite player chants that we have. I just love that.
Right. Yeah. So definitely one of my first things is how do you say their names, and then on visiting teams too. So we get like notes, and the notes have the rosters, and they have the rosters with phonetic spellings, so that they like sound out the names. It's a huge cheat. Every now and then there'll be an away PR guy who'll come in the booth and work with me too. So those are the ways that we get the pronunciations. And then what I've also found is that just say it with confidence. Say it like, and because at any given time, there's only 30% of the people listening to you.
Right. And even if you then say it wrong, that's just how they're going to say it
Just-
from here on out.
Just say it with confidence. At the point that I say correction, now 100% of people know I screwed up. But if
You've
you
done
just
that
make
before?
mistakes confident, this is like a life lesson, not even just announcing in life, right? Just make mistakes with confidence.
Right.
Half the people are not going to know anyway. And then the other half will be like, did he say what I think he said? But you just
Nah,
keep
he
going.
didn't say it. He
Right.
must
No,
have.
yeah, no. Correction. Oh, yeah, he
Yeah.
did say
Oh,
it.
he
Yeah.
did mess up. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So on names, you just say them with confidence. Yeah.
So I have 2 more questions
'Kay.
before we close out here. We've been hanging out. I could hang out all day.
I
This
know,
is
right? I
amazing.
was
Like,
so worried that my time was going to be like when the little thumbnails, my time was going to be like 15 minutes. Like, I was going to be
Well,
we
it will
wouldn't
be
do you
one
like
the
that,
least
Kevin.
interesting guy.
Mike's going to edit it down. No, don't
Right.
worry.
So much
Mike,
to talk
don't make
about.
me the shortest one, whatever you do. All right, go ahead.
So I was in the office today, and I was like, oh, we had the podcast today, talking to Kevin Casey. Everyone's like, oh, no way, so cool. Allison, she just started here a couple months ago. She said, ask Kevin if he's had any PA fails. You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Okay.
But have you had any like traumatizing moments up in the booth
All right.
where you're like, I can't
So,
believe that just happened?
I'm going to give you one. It was a semi-traumatizing, not really traumatizing. I was hosting Trenton Community Day at Sovereign Bank Arena in Trenton. And as part of that event, they had a professional wrestling demonstration, right? And so there's this like professional wrestling ring in the middle of Sovereign Bank Arena. And before the event, they're like, hey, we want you to just come back and meet some of the guys, right? And you go into this locker room, and there are grown men in like tights and face paint. Like when you see them in the ring, you're like, okay, that's sort of where you belong. You see them in like the locker room, you're like, this is weird.
And they're like,
man.
hey, Kevin.
This is like weird, right? And so I meet them all. They're like, whatever. And I'm walking out, and literally, like in the shadows, is this one guy, and he's got like the shoulder pads with the spikes coming out, right? And he's got the mohawk, and he's got this gravelly voice. I kid you not. He goes, "Hey, are you the announcer?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "When I get in the ring, I want to mess with you a little bit." I'm like, I'm gonna die. What have I got myself into?
He's got spikes.
Yeah, I'm gonna die. But like when he came in the ring, I think he just grabbed the mic, called me a pencil neck geek, and
Oh, so he was just really mean.
he just
Yeah.
So that was, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. But as far as mistakes in the booth, I have definitely at times doing minor league baseball, maybe not paid the closest attention to who was coming up to bat, and announced the wrong name of who was coming up to bat. And if you know both names, they are completely unlike what the other one is. So it would be like, no, that's not right at all. And then you like look at it and you're like, oh, geez, yeah, I should probably pay.
Correction.
Yeah, correction.
Correction.
Yeah, so I've had those moments. I had an experience with the Gold Cup final. It was the year that it's at the link, the Gold Cup final, and everybody's expecting USA-Mexico. USA doesn't make it. They actually lose the consolation game here at I guess at that point it was Talon.
Probably.
Right? But they want me on the field for the post-game ceremony. And I'm thinking it was Jamaica-Mexico. If Jamaica wins this thing, like it's going to get ugly down there. Like, if Mexico doesn't win this thing, I was kind of like fearing. And I'm down there in like, my bow tie, like we were saying, like I used to wear bow ties. Like that was my thing. And then COVID, on a fashion note, right? COVID has killed the tie in general. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right.
Most people go tie-less.
Right.
Even at like the gala last week, I noticed
and
most
it's
are.
almost like if you wear a bow tie now, it's almost like it's such a.
Kevin, if you wear a bow tie, I'll support you.
I might wear it.
It was you and Ray Gaddis that would rock the bow ties.
My guy Ray. Ray was my guy. Yeah.
What
Ray
if
was
you
my guy. Remember we used to do Ray, when Ray scores, we riot.
Yeah.
I had T-shirts made up for him. Yeah.
What if you have to go to the bathroom?
Oh, great question.
Okay, so let's talk minor league baseball again, because anything goes, right? I had the wireless mic, right, at Campbell's Field.
Did you bring it to the bathroom?
I may or may not have announced a couple of batters in the bathroom.
In the restroom.
At Campbell's Field. Yeah.
That's.
Yep.
Incredible question, Mark.
Here at in soccer, you got enough time.
But do you? Like, what if you got to go? It's the 33rd minute.
Usually, we'll time that out so that you don't have to go in the 33rd minute. I mean, I'm getting to a certain age where
Nature calls.
you can't stop.
Yeah.
So I haven't run into that, and I probably will. And guess who I'm going to blame when that happens? You.
Well, maybe Micah could jump on the mic.
Yeah, he's done it. He's done a starting 11 for a kids' day. That was the most stressed I've ever been. I've announced in front of like 80,000 people up in MetLife. I was the most stressed the day that Micah, who was probably like, I don't know, 10, he announced a starting 11 for the kids' day game. Killed it. Knocked it out of the park. Yeah. So that was the most stressed I've been. So those were some moments that I guess. And I would say most of them are non-union related. And now I feel like I'm like setting myself up for just devastation.
An epic fail this weekend.
Coming up soon. Stay tuned for an epic fail. Yeah. So.
All right. And I know you've watched some episodes of the DOOP presented by Subaru before.
Yes, all of them.
But can you give us a good outro to this pod in your best PA announcer voice?
Okay. All right. You ready?
Can't wait to see what you come up with.
And he doesn't have AI's help this time. He's got to come up with it on the
Got a
spot.
riff.
Okay. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the DOOP podcast with Sage Hurley, who we know can hold an Alejandro O twice as long as Mark Evans, who, by the way, is just as cute and adorable as assistant could be. How's that?
That was pretty good.
That's a wrap.